बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। अली अल्लाह मदद फरमा। नूर मौलाना शाह करीम हुसैनी हाजरी माम तौफीक तायीद हिम्मत यारी मौला। अल हई 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 अल الهي 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 या मौला या मौला या मुश्किल कुशा मेहरबान मौला we seek your mercy, we seek your help मौला। या मौला मेहरबान, without your help मौला we are nothing मौला। Ya Mola Meherban, it is all your blessings, it is all your mercy, Mola. Ya Mola, help us, Mola. Ameen. Ya Rabbal Alameen. Shukran Lillah, Alhamdulillah. Thank you to Kareem, starting this session with beautiful kalam and zikr. Alhamdulillah. Again, on beautiful day morning, Saturday, we have gathered here to discuss our farameens, which we are reading from the book Kalame Imame Mubin. Today, with mercy of Mawla, we start the second Farman. You all can see my screen?
Ji.
Okay. So before we start this Farman, I would like to say something. According to Quran, chapter 33, verse 45, all the prophets and imam and the messengers, when they come to this world to guide people, they have one objective. Their role is very important role, and those roles can be defined in two terms, and that is they are warners and they are giver of glad tidings. हमें डराने के लिए और खुशखबरी देने के लिए आते हैं. And that is chapter 33, verse 45. It says, O Prophet, indeed we have sent you as a witness and a bringer of good tidings and a warner. The reason Jamaat sometimes, when they read Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah's Farameen, and when we do not understand the Ta'wil, it becomes very difficult to read Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah's Farameen because Maula's Farameens are very direct, and Jamaat at that time were not educated at all. So Imam had to use his role of warner to teach them, what are our responsibility. What does accountability means? In today's time, due to education and the way we have grown as a Smiley Jamaat, Imam does not need to do that. Imam knows that we do understand, we have the power of making choices. We are no more naive, uneducated, illiterate. That is why we see drastic difference in Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah's Farameen and Hazri Imam's Farman. It is not that Imams, Farameens have changed. It is not that the guidance is different. Actually, we have changed. We are now educated. And according to our level, Imam is teaching us. So whenever we read Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah's Farman, we have to remember that there are two roles. And even I remember right now that when we look at the ginans of our peers, we would see in some ginans, peer would really make us scared. Mohe dar lago ek din asu. And in other farman, eji ab teri mohabbat lagi. Momin ne dejo bahisht didar. So there is warnings, fear, and then there is glad tidings. That element is always there, always there. In today's time, when you talk of fear, people would not like it. They will run away. And that is understandable because fear is not a motivator to change. In today's time, fear or guilt, people will not change. Inspire me, tell me what are the benefits of it, then I will change. So according to our level of absorption, our level of understanding, we see difference in the language of the Farami. Same you can say for Quranic language. Whenever you read Quran, and especially the time of Qiyamah, when you read about that, it is horror. It is scary. But as soon as you enter into Tawil, you realize that those verses are vague for the secrets of Iman. So there is a journey which we have to take as a Mu'min and Salik to understand what is hidden behind these horrific scenes. In reality, those who are not worthy, and it says clearly in the Quran, those who are not worthy, due to those fearful verses, they will leave deen, they will leave Iman, they will leave Imam. It is only those mu'mineen who are the seeker of knowledge, they will go beyond that veil, that door, that hindrance to see what is being said. Because we know his name is Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim. Then why would he give us Farami like that? So we have to remember that, and when we, with that understanding, when we read Faramins, we will understand it. Second verse in Quran is 48/8. It says, verily, we have sent you as a witness, as a bearer of glad tidings, and as a warner. So with that background, let's read the Farman. Please recite the salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. हक मौलाना धड़ी सलामत दातार सरकार आका सुल्तान मोहम्मद शाह हाजरी मां में फरमाव्યું કુલ જમાતને પૂછું છું કે અલ્હમ્દુલિલ્લાહ તમે બધા સારી પેઠે છો. Beautifully, Imam starts the Farman that I'm asking the whole Jamaat, praising the Lord, Alhamdulillah. Are you all doing well? And then he says, હવે અમે તમને ઇબાદતનું ફરમાન કરીએ છીએ. Now I will give you a farman on ibadat. હંમેશા ખુદાની ઇબાદત કરજો. આ રમઝાનમાં પણ ઘણી ઇબાદત કરજો. હર પલ હર સાઅત ખુદાને યાદ કરવા જોઈએ. ભૂલી જવા જોઈએ નહીં. અગર તમે ભૂલી ગયા હો અને ગાફલ થઈ ગયા હો તો અમે તમને યાદ અપાવીએ છીએ કે કેવી રીતે ઇબાદત કરવી. Mola in this paragraph says that always remember the Lord. Always do ibadat. If you have forgotten, I'm reminding you. And that month, this Farman is of April 27th, 1891. So this month, at that year, in that time, it was a month of Ramzan, when Imam is there with the Jamaat. And Imam is saying that in this month of Ramzan, you do need to do ibadat. Then he says, every moment, every time, you have to remember the Lord. Do not forget him. If you have forgotten, if you have become ignorant, I am reminding you how to do ibadat. કોઈ મુસલમાન થયો તો મોટો થયો નથી. અગર તમે ખોજા થાઓ એવું વિચાર નહીં કરો કે અમે બહિષ્ટમાં જાશું. ઇબાદત બંદગી કરશો તો બહિષ્ટમાં જાશો. Anyone who is Muslim, that does not mean that they are superior. Those who think that they are smileys, they are khoja, and they will go into paradise, that's not going to happen if you think like that. If only you do ibadat and bandagi, then only you will go in bihisht. So let's talk about this so we understand. So first, very interestingly, they have to remember Imam's age. Imam is very young. And Jamaat is like looking at Imam, right? So Imam asked, how are you all doing? And then he starts the Farman. And Farman, interestingly, Maula is starting to talk about ibadat. And an Imam says that always you have to do ibadat, always. Then very interestingly, Imam is talking about the month, which is the month of Ramzan. Now remember that when we live with, Muslim Ummah, Sunni people, especially Sunni, and we are being influenced in the sense that it is Ramzan month, so we need to pray more or we need to, fast and whatnot. Imam creates a distinction between them and us. And Imam says that if anybody is Muslim, it's not a superiority, it's not a big deal. And if anyone thinks that they are Khoja, they're smiley Khoja, they will go into paradise, that's not even true either. Anyone who does ibadat and bandagi, then they will go to paradise. So the question would be, ibadat bandagi, does it mean 4 to 5 hour morning time ibadat? No. That is not the only meaning of ibadat and bandagi. How do we know that? Again, Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah's Faramin help us understand. Imam in one of the Faramin explains the meaning of ibadat from abd and then say Abdullah. So what he is telling in one of the Farman, which will come inshallah, we will study, that the word ibadat is from abd. The word abd is from slavery. And then he says Abdullah, slave of Allah, meaning gulam of Allah. When we do gulami, when we become slave to Imam, the relationship of ours to Imam, the first relationship is actually, he is our master and we are his slave. Meaning we are in his bayat, we are in his farman bardari. When we follow the faramins, we may the gap, the distance between Imam and us can decrease. We can become lover of Imam. We are beloved children of Imam. But that beloved children is potential. Until we don't do ibadat bandagi, we do not actualize it. So there are steps in that journey too. There are darjat. The beginning is master and slave. But when the slave is obedient, master loves him. Then we become lover and beloved. And we become, follower of our Imam, children and father. All these are stages. And they are, taken step by step. When we see the word ibadat, meaning we do need to be obedient to Imam's faramin. If we do not become obedient to faramin, we are not in his rahmat. It is a harsh thing to say, but literally that's what it means, ibadat. We have to be farman bardar of Imam to get all that blessings which Imam actually bestows upon us. And then bandagi. Band is from banda. Again, a person, a slave, and who worships. The worshipping part, again, with limited knowledge, we limit it to Nurani time ibadat. But in reality, worshipping is all the time, 24 hours. Definitely Nurani time ibadat, but it is not the only thing. We do 3 times dua. We do Giriya Zariji Tasbih morning and evening, and then we also do zikr, tasbih. Right now, we are doing zikr. It is an ilmi zikr. So the remembrance or ibadat has very many ways, many, many forms. Take any form, stay in remembrance for 24 hours. Even our sleep time is the time of ibadat according to the teachings of Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah. So a true mu'min will never be out of the circle of ibadat. They are constantly doing ibadat. Imam in this farman is reminding us to do ibadat. And he says, if it is a Ramzan month, yes, around you, surrounding of us, we may see more ibadat, more practices of remembrance. But as a smiley, remember, Imam had created that distinction, Musalman and Khoja. From Khoja, Imam is expecting that Ramzan is not the only month to do ibadat. We are hakikatis. There are Shariati, then they follow the tariqat, which are called Sufis, and then we are hakikati. Hakikati is an elevated rank. We are already started at a higher level. We are blessed that we are born in Ismaili Tariqa. So we are way ahead of Muslim Ummah or Sufis. We do not need to go down, look at them, what they are doing. We need to understand our Tariqa and understand the expectations of our Tariqa, teachings of our Tariqa. We are way ahead of them. So we don't need to go down. What we do is all the time ibadah. Ramzan or no Ramzan, 4 to 5 or 6 to 8, we are doing our ibadah. Constantly, due to the power of intention, we are staying in the form of ibadat. We are always submitting ourselves to Imam, ibadat or bandagi. So please remember, whenever we read the word ibadat, do not limit it to Nurani time ibadat. Then Mola says, Khuda na darbar ma jai koi ibadat bandagi nahi kare, તેની આગળ કેવી હાલત થશે તે તમને સંભળાવું છું. Those who will not remember, who will stay away from remembrance, who will stay away from the house of the Mawla, meaning that not being Farman Bardar, their condition will be really not good. And Imam says that I'm going to tell you how it will be. Mawla says, કિયામતના દિવસ થશે, કિયામતનો દિવસ થશે ત્યારે 6 ટોળાવાળા ગુનેગારોને એવી આખરી અને કરમી સજા થશે કે તેઓ તરહી તરહી પુકારશે. Now this is the scene of Qiyamah Imam is going to show us. So Imam says that there are 6 groups of people. There will be 6 groups of people in the time of Qiyamah. And then those who had not stayed in remembrance, I'm going to tell you what will be their status. How would they be? And Imam actually tells us that those who are sinners, Evi Akhri and Karmi. Now, when we read the word Karmi, do not go into Karam and Maran and Janam, all those, Hindu philosophies and teachings. No, we are going to stay with Ismaili Tariqa, Akhri and Karmi, meaning that Imam is actually helping us to enter into the world of imagination. Alam and Khayal. Imam is teaching us to realize that there is end time. Our life is not without any accounts in this world. We will be asked, what did you do with your breaths? It is truly the way we, earn money. And we say, oh, this much is the song, this much is for this, and this much is for that. We do not want to waste any penny. We are very careful because it is our hard-earned money. Nobody can take advantage of us, or there should be no loss. Similarly, our breaths are those earnings which we have gotten for this life. And we have come with a purpose. And every breath is a precious breath. Are we wasting it or we are accountable? When we walk on this path, we realize that we are ignorant and we are sleeping. So we awaken and we seek forgiveness and become mindful and start doing what we're expected to do. So alhamdulillah, that is why we are sitting and Imam is mercifully helping us to have that reflection, that world of imagination, to be able to realize what we are doing with our lives. So we will have end time, we will die, and what injustice, whatever bad deeds we have done during this lifetime, and we do know about it from the Gnanic literature, Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Hasad, Maya, Kina, all that if we are inflicted with those spiritual diseases, we have not even started the journey in the spirituality because we are sick, So if we are in those diseases, we have to seek knowledge and learn how to heal ourselves. And that is why, my dear friends, my dear brothers and sisters, we are studying a book of healing, that if we don't learn how to heal ourselves, with ibadat, ilmi ibadat. How are we going to progress in spirituality? So that book is a very important book for us to really understand. In this Farman, remember, Jamaat is not educated. So Imam is going to take them to a world of imagination so they can awake, they become awake. Because somebody has to remind us, and Imam's role is of warner as well. Whatever we do, our karam, our deeds, our actions, we have to give accounts of it. So it is not that we are talking about reincarnation. Please do remember that. We do not believe in reincarnation. And those who have questions about reincarnation, I would request Karim Sahib, Naveen Sahibah to help you with those lectures. But every action is being written down. You know, we have two angels sitting and they are writing everything. They are called Karamin and Katibin. They are writing everything. So Imam now is going to tell us with the example of 6 groups, those who are gunegar, they've remained sinful, and how they are being taken account of, and how they will be, tari tari pukar se, they will be calling upon Mawla, help, help, help. You know, before I go further, there's another Quranic verse, chapter 57, Surah Hadid. And if you were to read verses 12 and 13, very beautiful verses. And it, clearly tells us the scene of Akhirat. It says that on that day, there will be momins and mominat. And they will be in a garden where the rivers are flowing underneath. And it's such a beautiful place they're at. And then there are people who are behind the door. There's a transparent door, interestingly, and behind the door there are people. And those people will say, oh, do you not remember me? I was your friend. I was your Jamaati member in the class. I was your family member. I was your brother, sister, children, husband, wife. Do you not remember me? Please open the door so I can come this side. And you know what will be the answer given by these people? These people will say, no, go back and start your journey of learning knowledge and doing ibadat where you had left it. And they will have to do what this group of people had done during their lifetime. Without knowledge, Imam has very clearly said, ilm wali ruh darja ba darja upar chadti hai. With knowledge, the soul will climb further step by step. If we don't have knowledge, there is no progress. We do need both the oars, knowledge as well as ibadat. If someone does one and thinks that they will be, par utri jayenge, no, it's not happening. Because Imam's Farman, we have to really understand. Ilm wali ruh darja ba darja upar chadti hai. So please read 57 by 12 and 13, and it will be an eye-opener kind of verse. So let's see what Imam is teaching us here. Forgive me, my throat is very dry today. पहलो तोड़ो ए के जेणे खुदानी इबादत बंदगी नथी करी अगर जिंदगी में एक वक्त पण खुदानी इबादत नो वक्त भूली गया हो. So the first group of people is those who had not done bandagi, who had not done ibadat. See, Imam keeps using both the words, ibadat bandagi. So, jene khudani ibadat bandagi nathi kari. So one group is that who has not done the ibadat. And then Imam says, agar zindagi ma ek wakhat par khudani ibadat no wakhat bhuli gaya ho. And then if in their lifetime, if they had forgotten just once, the time of ibadat, meaning the expectations from this group is very high, very high. This is the forerunners group. This is the first group of people who are ahead of everybody. The expectations from them is, even if they've forgotten the ibadat once, they will be asked why. Meaning this group of people are those who are seeking knowledge, who have been clearly given warnings, who have been clearly taught why is it so important to remember. And we are not talking about only Isme Azam Ibadat 4 to 5. We are talking about Ibadat of a Hakikati, because we all are Hakikati, meaning 24 hours. We have no reason of not doing Ibadat. It is all in the power of intention. Again, if anybody wants to know the power of intention, there are lectures about that as well. With power of intention, a Mu'min Salik can make every breath in Ibadat. The time when we work in our workplaces or businesses, we can make it as Ibadat time through the power of intention. So these Mu'minins are those, Imam's expectation is that they would never forget, meaning they are very close to Imam. So that is the first group. We should desire to be in the first group. We should desire, because if we have Ibadat, if we are in remembrance, there is no reason for us to fear, because we are in remembrance. We are with Mawla. બીજો તોળો એ કે જેણે હક અને ઝકાત આપી નથી. અગર એક ચોખોનો દાણો ઝકાત વગર રહી ગયો હોય. Now this is another very important pillar, that is the song. When we understand the life of a Mu'min Salik is actually, the way we say tan man dhan, we are giving it to Imam. Our earnings, our breath, our life is of Imam. Imam gives it to us to use it in this world and do good deeds. Those who do not give the sown, right amount of the sown, it is, I do not want to scare, but the sown is very, very important. And the reason it is so important, because when we earn money, because we earn with our physical hard work, we become very attached to money. The trap, the shaitan ki bazi with money is very, very powerful, very powerful. So the song is very important. There are so many faramins about the song that sometimes I feel that, do we really need to talk about the song? But I realize that we do need to. Even yesterday, one of my friends, we were talking about the song, that how it is not being practiced the way it should be for different reasons. Why and how, we do not need to go back into it, but we need to learn now. We need to pay the song. How are we calling ourselves smileys if we do not pay the song? Without the song, there is no chutkara, there is no salvation. Please know that. It is difficult. Yesterday, when I was talking to a friend, and this friend was telling me that they are going through lots of financial difficulties. And it is very difficult to even, eat in a normal way. My humble and pleading, my plead is to you. Give the song. Try your best. Do not compromise on the song. Believe me, if you are paying the song, all the difficulties one by one will leave you, financial difficulties. But if you do not pay the song, do know that you will remain in financial difficulties. Those mu'mineen who pay the song, they are also tested with money, but they will be having this peace in their heart that it is not difficulty. There is a subtle difference. Only those who are in that situation can understand it. But right now, I want to focus on those people who, due to any reasons, any youngsters who are not paying the song. I beg you, please remember, it is must. It is our religious dues, which we have to pay. There is no excuse in the song. Yes, we do hear about the sonna chhata or guna ki maafi. When you are reminded, when you are being told that the song is must, you do need to know that after that, if you slack in paying the song, we will be asked. The song is extremely important. The song is not charity. People have, wrongly translated Quran, zakat as charity. The word zakat, and we, my Muslim friends, they think of zakat in a very many different ways. Very many different ways. Zakat is charity, and especially only given in the month of Ramzan, only on savings. They've made so many rules to make it easier on them. But they are Shariati. Why are we going to follow them? We are Hakikati. For us, we do know we are in paradise. Even if we are sinful, we are in paradise because we are with Imam. Do know that. We are smileys. So we are in paradise. But even paradise also has darajah. We talked about it. We want to be close to Imam. We love Imam. If we love Imam, please, the song, we cannot slack in the song, no matter what happens. Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah in his time has given Farami, and I would like to tell you this story because I just yesterday spoke to somebody and it is in my mind and I think it is important. Again, if you want lectures on the Soul in details, please ask Karim Sahib. They will share lectures on the Soul. But I just want to briefly tell you a story. Remember Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah's time, Jamaat is not educated. But today, when we are educated, we become very smart in deceptions, deceiving, because we are clever. So if we are thinking like that we are going to deceive Imam, Ali Allah, Madad Farma. So let me tell you a story of a village at that time in Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah's time. These villagers were very, very poor. And Amal Daran, who went to collect the dason, they saw their status, so they came kind of empty-handed to Imam's huzur. And Imam is asking, so what did you collect? Which village? What? So when they were giving report, they said this, village, they are going through very hard time. They had no crops and they are, not even able to eat 3 times a day. And they could not pay any dason. Imam says, dason nahi diya? Khata nahi hai kya? Imam is asking, do they not eat? So Amaldar says, oh Mola, probably 1 chapati. Mola says, tell them to give me a tukra of that chapati. Give me the piece of that chapati. That is very harsh. Mola is taking a bite away from the moment's mouth. Do we think Mola is harsh and cruel? No, he is Rahman and Rahim. Do we know why Imam made a farman like that? If we do not pay the sun, how is he going to take us to salvation? If we study Quran, it clearly says that there are so many verses about zakat, and Prophet is being asked, Quran says, oh Muhammad, take from their money so you can purify them. You can take them to salvation. Today, the Janashin, the Khalifa of Prophet Muhammad is Imam. We want Imam to take us to salvation. We do not want to be like others. We want to be treated especially in paradise. But what is the cost? What is the expectations for that? Are we meeting that? So if we don't meet the expectations, why are we hoping? That's a false hope. That is why it is so important to be Farman Bardar. The song is must. Haji Imam has not given any Farman on the song. You know why? Because Imam says ethics of Islam. And it encompasses zakat in it as well, the sun in it as well. And Imam has very clearly given us this farman that I would like to walk on the footsteps of my grandfather. If Imam is walking on the footsteps of his grandfather, what are we doing? Are we reading his farman and undermining it? Or these are old farman, doesn't apply to us? No, it very much applies to us as well. So I hope that we do not need to talk about the song here. I really hope that we do not, because there is a beautiful lecture explaining the details of the song. But here I am taking Imam's Hidayat as a warner and warning myself and all our friends. Because warning is very important and needed, not to make us feel guilty, but to wake up and do what is expected of us to be done. Please remember, those who pay the sum, do not be happy. Do not be happy. Why? Because we need to understand what does the song mean. If our life is at 3 levels, physical, spiritual, intellectual, the soul is also at 3 levels. Have we paid all the soul? Again, something to reflect and realize about our own self. Details you will find in that lecture. So in relationship to the soul, there is sadka, there is this and that. So many questions can come up. I would humbly request to listen to the lecture, which talks about the soul only. So let's move on. And I do not, want to go discussing different verses in Quran. There are so many verses about zakat, and the word zakat means the soul. Do not think of zakat as charity, because they have wrongly translated it according to their, wants and desires. Things have changed. But if you properly look at the meaning of the word zakat, Prophet Muhammad is asked by Allah to take zakat so you can purify them. So zakat is must. After that comes charity. And Ismaili Jamaat is known for their charity, Al Khan Foundation. So we are already blessed. I don't think, we are falling short in paying the soul and in charity. But those who are in some kind of test, that is, we are discussing that, wake up and we need to pay the soul. Those youngsters who have grown in Western world and somehow they have not seen their parents paying the soul because they did not tell them, or the parents missed out on paying the soul, all that category of people, the soul is must. If you go to majalis, if you go do ibadat, if you do dua or chandrat madras or jamaat khana hazri or big majalis, if the soul is faulty, nothing is going to work. The soul is foundation, it is bunyad. I think this would suffice. Now, let's go to the third part. Trijo toro ek ke jene sharab pido hoy. Agar ek tipo પણ શરાબનું પીધો હોય અને તોબા કરી ના હોય અને ગુજરી ગયા હોય. I see Imam's mercy. Alcohol, again, in our Jamaat living in Western world, we hear that our youngsters and our Jamaati members are in this, social habit, bad habit of alcoholism. And in this Farman, Imam is saying very clearly, and Haz Imam's Faramins are so many also on alcohol. So third group of people are those who have drank alcohol. And Imam says, even if they drank one drop and not seek forgiveness, meaning Imam knows that there are people who are drinking. Imam is saying that, okay, you drank. But now I'm warning you, I'm reminding you, seek forgiveness and don't drink afterwards. I have this Farman in front of me. Kigoma, Tanzania, November 8, 1966. Hazrat Imam's Farman, Allahumma salli ala Muhammadi wa ali Muhammad. I wish to make one other Farman, which is for all my spiritual children all over the world on this visit to East Africa. I have been told that some spiritual children have taken up a horrible habit of drinking alcohol. And that not only some spiritual children have taken up this habit, but that some of them have become alcoholics. I warn my spiritual children. What did we hear? I warn my spiritual children that this is a horrible habit. To be drunk is for every Muslim, whether he be a Shia or a Sunni Muslim. To be drunk is a sin against Islam. And I want this to be well understood. Now, again, is this the only Farman of Hazrat Imam? No, I have very many Farman. Thanks to Naveen Sahibah, who helped me find these Faramins. I see Mwanza, Tanzania, November 10th, 1966. Bali, Uganda, December 1966. So it seems that Hazrat Imam is making Farman in East Africa, Tanzania, Uganda, and Nairobi, Zanzibar, all that area. Then Imam is again another Farman, 1970, November 11th, Tanzania, Dar es Salaam Farman. 1997, Uganda, Kampala, March 10th. So it seems that a lot of East African Jamaat, because of the environment, culture there, they got exposed to alcoholism. And then Jamaat who moved to USA, London, Canada, of course, we see here very commonly. In fact, I remember one of the youngsters I was talking, and he was telling me that I've been working so hard, but I don't get promotion until I learned that the real decisions are made in the social setting. So when I found out, so I took my wife and we went on Saturday night, and they had a party and food and alcohol. Everybody's drinking alcohol and they're drunk and they're making decisions. And he says, how do I get promotion? I cannot drink, so I'm misfit. And I was like, no, you are not misfit. You are smart, you are intelligent, you are child of Imam, and you and your wife, restricted yourself to not become like others for the worldly goods. Do you think Imam is not going to love that about you? He's not going to help you promote. You will not get what you want. Do not undermine the mercy of Mawla. Yes, right that moment you are seeing the power of Shaitan. Oh, I don't fit in. If I don't drink, how do I become their friends? And I will not get the promotion because all the decisions are made where heavily people are drinking. And how do I continue to fight that environment? Because I need to have better life for my family. What a test. Every smiley Mormon has that test living in the Western world. We don't fit in. But do we need to fit in? No, we have to be very, very prideful about it. That Islam says that we do not drink alcohol. We can drink cranberry juice, or anything else, and be there in those groups, but do not drink. Fight it, resist it. Those who have given into this fight. This is sin against Islam. And we do know when one goes on the path of alcoholism or drugs, what would be their end game? Again, these are something so prevalent in our Jamaat, especially in the Western world, that we need to wake up and realize that if we are in these bad habits, we have to be accountable. It is our own accountability. Alcoholism, we will not be good to our own families, our own life. We will not be happy people because alcoholism gives depression and whatnot. It does not help us. So those who drink, remember that we are sinning just by drinking, just by trying to fit in the culture. This culture has very many good things. We take good values, not the bad values or bad habits. Chothu todu, ek jene sood, yani bhari vyaj, potana din bhaione pasethi khadu hoy. Now, this is another important topic about interest. That Imam says that those group of people who have taken heavy interest from their own brothers. Interest itself is not wrong or bad. It is acceptable in al-tariqah. Vyaj, sood is acceptable. How do I say that? Because Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah talks about it in chapter 8 of Memoirs. He does talk about it in his memoirs. Not in chapter 8, but he does talk about it. I think it is in chapter 8. Forgive me because I don't remember it. Chapter 2 or chapter 8. Imam does talk about it that we do live in this world according to the time of this world. We do, when we buy houses in Western worlds, we do pay interest. And we do, when we have what do you call it? Certificate deposits, like CDs or whatnot. We have our money and on our savings, we do earn interest. But then the situation here is that when we go to smiley societies and we are charged interest, or say we have borrowed money from somebody else, and there's a heavy interest. All that, when we talk about, becomes questionable when we are charging interest more than what is available in the market. As a smiley societies, because somebody asked me again recently that we borrow money loans from smiley societies. Why are they charging us? Why are they charging interest? So first, very important, in Islam, honest trade is acceptable, it is free, and we do take interest according to the market values. We live in the physical modern life according to this time, and it is not condemned. Remember that it is not condemned. However, there's a word, usury, heavy vyaj, heavy sood, it is condemned. But interest as per se is not condemned. In fact, Quran very clearly talks about those people who take, advantage of those situations and earn from those people who are in need of money. So usually is charging more than, like doubling the amount or tripling the amount. I remember there was a term, Chakravarti Vyaj, we used to hear. Chakravarti Vyaj, meaning that if you don't pay the amount, the interest continues to multiply, double, triple. It becomes so, such amount that the person who has borrowed the money is never able to pay. And in olden times, people used to take advantage of that by, doubling and tripling in interest money. They would take family members as slaves because you have not paid your money, your house. So people have taken advantage by using interest. Those interest is not acceptable. Usually is not acceptable by doubling and tripling. But the general interest which we see in our banks, in our daily livings, if we have saving, we do want it to, become more by, getting the interest when we put it in a market or certificate deposit or whatever we are doing, we are earning, that is money. We pay the son and we can use that money because money sitting will not increase. And especially Jamaat who are elderly, what would they do? They are not going to start a new business. And if they have savings, they will need it. So they would put it in an interest, and whatever interest they get, they can use it after paying the son. So interest is acceptable. And a question which was asked, because it was asked, I think it is important to talk about it in relationship to smiley societies. The question was that why, when cooperative societies were started, Imam from his Jubilee money gave this money to different Jamaati members to start a cooperative society so they, entrepreneurs can get loans and whatnot. And those societies are still running and functioning, but they do charge interest. So why do they charge interest? And it is very logical to realize that when we look at this structure of our societies, there are board of members who are honorary members of Jamaat. But then those offices need, accountant, secretary, fees of lawyer, maintenance of that building. How are those money going to come? Isn't that more than enough that the board of members are giving their time and their knowledge, their decision making, looking at the person and giving money or not giving money? All those is honorary. They give voluntary time. Interest is charged less than in our cooperative society than the banks outside. This is what my understanding is. I have not gone there to find out, but this is what my understanding is. If we were to borrow the loan from outside, we may pay more interest, and we will have to pay because if we don't pay, we are getting into foreclosures or whatnot, right? There are consequences. But when smiley cooperative societies charge us, we have this power of voice. Why do they charge? They have to maintain those offices. And then those board members, when Imam gave money, I remember Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah's, cooperative society. I remember one of the society at a young age, I had kind of come across this knowledge that Imam had given 10,000, rupees at that time. And that society now deals with hundreds of thousands. So how did those 10,000 became 100,000? Where did the money come from? The money comes from those board of trustees or board of members who are well-to-do. They invest their own money in the societies. They can invest outside too and earn more money. But because they feel for Jamaat, they want to take care of their Jamaat, they invest their money and they do charge interest. First, the maintenance of the society is done. Majority of the interest is put back into the piggy bank so more Jamaat can get loans, and then there is some money. The principle they follow is no profit organization. They are no profit organization. But remember, they have to maintain the office and their living. So when we compare the way they do things and the societies or banks, which is all administrative fees and charges, it is totally different. Because we are smiley and these are smiley societies, we ask them, why are you doing that? So we need to become open-minded to see why the interest is charged. To summarize this point, very important that in Ismaili Tariqa, we do pay interest and we do take interest, but not the interest which is multiplied, very many times, the way we have seen in the past, this Chakravarti Vyaj, doubling and tripling, which is called usury. Usury is condemned. We do not do that. So I think this was very different Farman as per se, and we'll continue to talk about it. I think we should stop here if friends have any question, and then we'll continue with the fifth group, inshallah, next week.
Subhanallah. Thank you, Niamat Sahibah. Friends, if you have any questions or comments, you can come forward. While we're waiting for them, I have a question. I would probably fall in all of these groups or practically all of them. What options do I have of correcting myself? What can I do now?
Rupan, on your humility, Kareem. Yes, it's a very important question each one of us have to ask from ourselves. When we are given the warning, we need to take it. And if we see ourselves fitting in any and every category, we really need to have conversation with Imam. We really need to sit down and talk to Maula Baba. Seek strength from him and ask for forgiveness. Strength that once we have learned, we do not remake same mistakes. We become better every breath, every day. It is so important that we should be on the path of improving ourselves, becoming better. Yes, we do fall down. It's not that we don't. But I hope that the falling would not be same as prior to what we have learned in the warnings. It should not be same. If it is same, then we are not paying attention. We are humans and we are full of flaws. So mistakes happen. When I say mistake, it means mistake. It is not intentionally doing it. So I hope you understand what I'm saying. One is intentionally doing the crime, committing the sin. Another is, oh, I made a mistake. I need to fix it. So mistakes can happen, but we do need to become very critical. Eye-opening Farman for us. And there is this power of Girya Uzari, shedding tears and seeking forgiveness from Imam. Because Imam says that, kyare par maafi nahi mangi ho, right? Imam says that the door of forgiveness is open. He is Ghafoor. One of his name is Ghafoor. The way we say, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, Ya Ghafoor. So he is the forgiver of the sins. So we need to seek forgiveness. Again, if we want to know about Girya Uzari seeking forgiveness, there are lectures in great detail. But we do need to wake up. I think, somehow after COVID, the way we all have met with each other and in these classes, there is a reason. There is a reason that Imam wants us to learn about all this knowledge. and become better mu'minins. When we are learning these things, if we do not take this upon ourselves and change ourselves, then there is no difference. In the way I shared this Quranic verse, 57 by 12 and 13, that then that day there will be door between us and those who will take this warning and change themselves. Let us be on that side where we have no regret. We are with Imam. We are in paradise with Imam, because lower level of paradise, those members who have not taken upon themselves to change, to be obedient to Imam, then there'll be regret, but no way of fixing it. Because once we physically leave this world, when we die, we are in paradise, we are with Imam, but far away, far away. But because Batni eyes are open, we can see that how our friends and family members, Jamaati members are with Imam and enjoying the didar and eating, best, fruits and whatnot. And we are down below, just in regret, ashamed, on ourselves. It is a painful thing. And then there is no free will. There is no free will. Today, here, we have time and we have this power. I always get hope from this, and I say it so many times as well, that even like here, if we do a good deed, the exchange rate for us here is ek ka sawala. If we do good deed here, the exchange rate is 125,000 times. We are benefited 125,000 times. So we need to be very clever. We need to be very smart. Varanjara. P says Varanjara, Varanjuro Karilamju. Be a profitable businessman. We become awake, and every good deed becomes, in our saving account, one good deed equals to 125,000 times good deeds. That's the power of being alive in this physical world and doing good deeds, becoming pure-hearted. And if we are submitting to Imam, if we are paying out the soul, we are, intending to remember him the whole day, we are on the path of purification. And when Imam sees that we are sincerely walking on this path, desiring to become good mu'minins, make ourselves pure. If that desire is there, if their, actions are followed by those desires, even if it is tiny actions, remember each tiny action is a huge amount of savings in our account. And when Imam says that we are on the path of Sirat al-Mustaqim, walking further, he is Rahman and Rahim. His mercy does come. When does his mercy does not come? That will be the question. When we are standing on the path, not willing to improve, we listen to Farman and let it out from the other ear. Then, Rahman and Rahim, his rays does come, but it stops. It doesn't enter into us. It doesn't enter. Because we are not seeking even forgiveness. There is no action. There is no desire to move forward. So the key is to continue to move forward, striving to do better every breath. Do pulse check every night. How have I spent my day? And change ourselves. Again, there are beautiful lectures on pulse check. We did the series of lectures on pulse checking, 6 lectures to help, friends understand the whole concept. We need to learn and we need to apply it individually on ourselves, because each one of us is different. We have different strengths and different weaknesses. It is very individual journey. So we can continue to talk about it in the group, but we do need to sit down individually. And whenever we feel good about ourselves, because sometimes there's another trap of shaitan. Shaitan tells us that, oh, we are smileys, we are good, we are hakikati, we are doing this and we are doing that. For example, I'm listening to this lecture. I'm doing good. Yes, you are doing good. What after this lecture? Did it make you change any habit? Did it help you transform yourself? If it did, shukran lillah, alhamdulillah, you are on the right path. That answers, Karim.
Thank you, Niamat Sahibah. Subhanallah. Friends, anybody else got any questions or comments?
मुझे ना दुश्मन के लिए एक एग्जाम्पल शेयर करना है जो हमको बचपन में सिखाए थे
जी।
जैसे वो जो फार्मर्स होते हैं ना, वो लोग जब पूरे साल का अनाज उगाते हैं, लेकिन अगर उनको वो परपेचुअल वो चाहिए कि हर साल खेती हो, तो वो लोग क्या करते, जो उसमें से बेस्ट सीड रहते ना, वो लोग थोड़े वो निकाल लेते, वापस से उसको जमीन में डालते, और अपने बच्चों को तक वो खाने नहीं देते, भले बच्चे अगर भूखे भी है ना तो भी वो लोग उसको यूज करते, क्योंकि उनको मालूम है कि ये बीज अगर हम खा जाएंगे तो फिर हम पूरा साल हम भूखे रहेंगे। तो द शोर इज समथिंग लाइक दैट कि बरकत बरकत बरकत। मैम आप इसको और अच्छे से समझा सकते हैं। थैंक यू।
Shukran Mawla. Thank you for that.
Anybody else got any questions or comments? I have another question, but I will wait to see if anybody else has got anything else. Okay, so my question is, you mentioned the sond, and you very briefly mentioned different forms of the sond. I was wondering if you could give us a bit more information on that, please.
So there are terms like, especially those who live with Sunni people, right? We live now, with Muslim Ummah. And I can tell you a story. One of my friend here who has a jewelry store, and her manager is a Muslim. So when they started a new, wing, and he tells her that, oh, we need to give sadaqah to bring success, or what do you call it, barakat. And she's like, okay, take this money and do sadaqah. And then she comes and tells me, what is sadaqah and why do I need to give it to, so there, sadaqah actually is, people take these words and they mix it. Sadaqah, zakat, there are different terms. So sadaqah is actually offering. It refers to offering of wealth, which includes zakat and general charity. So the sadaqah word is offering. It's a broad term, which includes the sawm as well as charity. So sometimes people hear word zakat, they are confused, because when they see the actions of zakat, it only happens in the month of Ramzan, and it only is given on the savings. So it is a very easy way of giving the sawm. So there are very many smiley Jamaati members who say, oh, we pay zakat and that is it. Because zakat is easy. It is, with Mafi, I say that it's a cheating of the system. And people have created that. It is not that Allah ordered that. So zakat, they only give on the savings. What if I don't have savings? So zakat doesn't apply to me. Whereas in Ismaili tariqa, the sond is must. Even if you're eating one bite, the sond is must. It is that important. So zakat, when we hear this word zakat, make sure that people understand that for us, zakat is religious dues. We must pay. So we call it the sond. And for them, zakat is different. Zakat is charity, alms, sadaqah. All these are different categories they use to pay money whenever it suits them. I'm saying that because I see that, forgive me, because it suits them. And, have some feeling of good feeling that I did that. So I told my friend that you did not have to give any sadaqah. You can say, no, I'm Ismaili and I've taken care of my zakat. I do not need to pay sadaqah. And she said, oh, but I am Muslim too. Will I not offend him? I said, no. We need to know about our tariqah and tell them. If they want to know, tell them that we pay 12.5%, which they never pay. On our earnings, we pay 12.5%. Those people who are friends with Ismailis and they come to know the way we pay the son, they get shocked because nobody pays money like this. Nobody, the way we pay. We should be prideful and happy. In Ismaili Tariqa, why we are so progressive, why we are so, how do I say it? In the mercy of Imam. And Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah's Faramins are so clear that you are tied to me through the son. The Imam, for us to take us to salvation, is through the son, because that is the physical connection. Other than that, all ibadat, all zikr, we have to do it in our batin. There is some which is must, but that must is not enough. There is nawafil ibadat. The physical earning which we get from our money, and we are attached to our money, when we pay that money, then only we bind with Imam to say, Mawla, accept my dason, and in return, take me to salvation, purify my soul. And we get this faramins, this khanavadan. And the way we continuously hear that his faramins, his duashes is there, but it never becomes activated for us because due to lack of knowledge, due to deception, cleverness in our heart, cheat in our heart, we have found ways and means to not be Farman Bardar and think of ourselves Farman Bardar. When we do that, those duashes of Imam never become activated for us. So the terms, Kareem, when you ask, there is sadqa, there is the zakat, and there is one more term, which is yusri in English. Yusri is condemned. So in the song lecture, Kareem, it talks about in great detail. So if you have question after listening to that lecture, I would love you to, all of you, to submit questions to me. Then what we can do, we can simply only talk about the song and different, terms which are used as Muslim Ummah, and that can be confusing for Ismaili Jamaat. However, for me, I say we are Ismaili and it is very clear for us that we pay the song. And we need to be confident, prideful, say to them, no, we give our own dasun, which applies to us every earning every month. We do not wait for the Ramzan to give zakat. And charity, yes, we do give charity as well. Somebody says, no, you have to give sadaqah, feed these many people, so there would be barakat in your business. We already give charity to AKF. And we let Imam distribute the money to Ismailis and non-Ismailis. Imam does not do differentiation. All the institutions serves everybody. And if you want to know about my sadaqah, my offering, go to the website, AKF, you will know. We should be prideful about it. No one will be able to meet our level of service because we are Ismailis. We are doing great with the faramins of Imam. Within ourselves, when we look into our own groups, yes, we are, all of us, not at the level where Imam would like us to be. So this is a Ismailis mehfil. Here we can criticize each other and talk about judgment and talk about how we are deficient and how we need to work hard. But outside, no. We say we are paying the son and we are giving sadaqah. AKF is evidence and my the son is this much. And we are not lying. I hope that we understand this part. This pride doesn't come, empty. We are paying the son and we are supporting all different institutions, whatever we can, if not, even a dollar does make a change. So whatever we are doing and we should be happy about it. But when we are sitting within our Ismaili friends and Ismaili, brothers and sisters, and anyone, due to any test, due to any issues, if we are falling short, these are the farmans and we need to obey the farman.
Niamat Sahibah.
Ji.
in Chandra these days, they don't recite this Farman, but what do you mean by this? I want you to explain to me this one. Samagra Khara Ismail Jog.
You will have to give it to me, my dear. I have to study it. This term sounds difficult. I don't know as just listening to it, right? So things like that, you got to give it to me so I can study, research, and then talk about it. I don't know Gujarati that well.
Yeah, but this is very easy. Just because I remember the heading. Okay, before I used to read this from Samagra Khara Ismaili Jog. Sagri Mandlio, JVK Life Dedication, 5 bar સાલ અને બીજી મંડળીઓના મારા રૂહાની બચ્ચાઓએ ભૂલી ન જવું જોઈએ કે દસોંદ છે તે સગરી ફરજોમાંની પહેલી ફરજ છે અને તે સિવાય ધર્મનો પાયો જ નથી. Can you explain that?
This Farman is so clear that the first responsibility, I told you that we are bound with Imam, with the son. The son, this must. The son, if we are falling short in the son, believe me, no matter how much bandagi we do, how much knowledge session we attend, it will not serve us. Now, what else can we say? I do not want somebody to have, difficulty. So this friend I spoke to, they are going through really financial difficulties. And they are, due to whatever choices they made, in a very, very, very difficult situation. Very difficult situation. Now, how would that person come out of it? And when I say like that, I feel uncomfortable, to be very honest with you, that I do not want to take away the hope or strength from any smiley brother or sister. Because, we can say, yes, it is Imam's Farman, it is not hidden. You all know it, that without the son, there is no salvation. Any ibadat, any bandagi, any kriya, any knowledge without the son will not help us. Please listen to it carefully. Without the son, there is no pragati, no chutkara. But then there are those Jamaati members who are in great difficulties because of the whatever choices they made. They are in a great financial stress, strain. For them, it is very hard. So I am vocalizing that I understand, my dear friend who spoke to me. You are here and you are listening. Please do understand that I do not want you to feel disheartened. I would like to request you to make choices, whatever you can, to pay the son. Without the son, very humbly, I'm going to share something because you are asking about the son. There are farmans of Maula where Maula says that if you don't pay me the son, I will come as a doctor. I will come as something else and take your money. Do we see that when we are in difficulties, we have medical bills pending? We have that bill pending and this bill pending. There's no barakat in the money. We are always in difficulty. And I say that when this is happening, change it. Change that scenario. Pay the son first. Regardless of what viage, what tension, what loan, what karza, forget about it. Pay the son first. Believe in his miracle. Sit down as a family, do ibadat, giryazari, seek maafi every day. Say tasbih of forgiveness every day and complete the son. Will it bring lots of difficulties? Yes, it will. But if you can take that leap of faith, pay the son first and see how step by step your life will change. Your life will change because Imam has given this farman that I will come as doctor and take my dues. Why Imam would be?
I remember that farman. Yes. Doctor થઈને હું તમારા ઘરે ગમે કરીને હું લઈ લઈશ તમારા પૈસા. And Sultan Muhammad Shah also said another farman where જો દસોંદ is અમારી 8 સૂકી લાકડી છે, એમાંથી 7 લાકડી તમારી છે, 1 લાકડી મારી છે. જો ઈ 7 લાકડીને તમે નહીં આપો ને તો મારી 1 લાકડી છે ને તમારી સાતે સાતને બારી નાખશે. He was very strong.
Yes, very important farman. So hear this, what she just shared of farman, that, Imam gives example, allegory, that if you were to have 7 wooden sticks, that is your earning, let's say. And out of those 7, 1 is mine, that is dasun. If you do not give 1, because 7 is too few and you have so many mouths to feed, right? 7 is too few. That 1 wood will burn all your 6 woods. So what is your choice? Do you want to have something with you, or you want to let it go everything? What is your desire? So the sond is must. There is no salvation. And then if somebody says that this is not harsh farman of Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah, that I will come as a doctor, this is not Imam's harshness. This is Imam's mercy, because he loves us. He calls us my beloved spiritual children. We got to do what we got to do. When we don't pay the sond, he has to come as a doctor to take it. So why do we want sickness on our physical body? And why do we want Imam to take money like that when we willingly, with happiness, offer him our dues? This is our dues. Then why are you smiling? Why do you go to Jamaat Khana if we are not obedient to Farman Bardari of Imam? So, is there any more need to talk about this? No, I don't think so. This is, I feel kind of, truly uncomfortable, because we are hurting those who are in difficulties. And we should not become prideful, those who are paying money dasun. Because money dasun is just one aspect in the beginning which applies. But that's the first and the most important step. When we are doing physical dasun, physical ibadat, then only we will enter into the batni world, hakikati world. If we are falling short in our physical kriya, physical dasun, physical ibadat, how are we going to move forward to ruhani level, nurani level? There are further stages. So very
Ji. Sorry, Niamat Sahibah. Then there is another farman where Maulana Bapa says, "Tamo bandgi nati karta, to tome hakni roji nati khata."
Exactly. So bandagi is an encompassing word. Banda, slave. Slave pays the dues and follows the farman. So if you do ibadat, physical ibadat, and you think that you are eating hakki rozi, rightful earnings. No, everything is included. When we say bandagi, it's inclusive of the sons, ibadat, zikr, knowledge, everything is into it. What we do, we dissect and we say, oh, this is it, this is that. No, these words are encompassing word. It tells us that we are slave. Abdullah from ibadat, slave of Allah. Bandagi, banda from slave. So these are encompassing word, taking all what is expected of us. What we have done, oh, ibadat bandagi 4 to 5. I do that, I'm good. I pay money this one, I'm good. Your good is questionable because there is lack of knowledge.
Thank you, Niamat Sahibah. It's a pity that the discussion has focused solely on the sond, and the rest of the farman has been forgotten as such. I have 2 short questions in the chat, which if you're willing to take them, then we can close the session. So first one you've already answered, which says, how about husband and wife? They have 2 religious dues as such, like Sunni and Ismaili. And I think you already answered that. And the other question is 12.5% from gross or net earnings?
So personally, I feel, let me give you a different answer. So when you get net amount, you pay the sond, right? Whatever you get money, you pay the sond. But then whatever you did not get, for example, the money which is withheld for your taxes or your retirement money, because there are different terms in different countries, right? Here we say 401k in USA. So whatever money is withheld, do not forget that you have not paid the sond in that. You can make a choice to pay the sond on the net today, or you can pay it on the gross. The key is that do not forget where you are not paying the dasson. Right now, if I'm getting, $1,000, I pay dasson on $1,000. That's okay. But when my dues tax is paid, and if I get money returned back to me after paying the tax, remember, that is the money I did not pay the dasson on. So you need to pay the dasson on that. If your, money, 401k or retirement money is being deducted, when it comes to you, remember, you got to pay the dasson because you did not pay the dasson on that. So it's a choice you make as a person, that how vigilant you want to be. You want to pay the dasson when you are, get all the money at the retirement time. Would you be able to depart with the money at that time? That would be a big chunk. Or you want to make a decision right now to depart with money right now. It's very individual. So it is not a rule as per se that you pay the dasson on net or gross. You got to pay the dasson on what you earn. So this question dies down. You decide how you want to pay. Yes, it is very logical. If you say, oh, I'm getting only $1,000, so I'll pay the dasson on 1,000. Yeah, that's acceptable. But then don't forget, if you get money from, tax money or retirement money, you did not pay the dasson on that. The dasson applies to it. So that would be my answer. Become chokha. Chokha meaning be 100% pure and good in calculation, because Imam is so merciful. He gives us unlimited. So if our dasson is, let's say, $10 and I pay $11, bhul chukni dasson. What if I've forgotten something? Pay more. You will get 125,000 more. If you can, think like that. That helps. And if somebody is Sunni and somebody is Ismaili Momin, I know physically we fall in love and whatever choices we make, you got to do your own dasson, your own dues, what you eat, what you earn. It should be, prior to marriage, that on my earning, I will pay the dasson. Because I have another friend who came to me, married to Sunni, and did not make that clear. And now husband doesn't allow her to pay the dasson. So what she did, her jewelry, what her parents had given her in her wedding, whenever she goes to Jamaat Khana, she puts her earring, her chain, and now she has reached to that state that she has no gold remaining. But she has no money to pay the dasson. So sometimes, choices we make lead us to in a difficult situation. So anyone who marries outside, we know what we are supposed to do. 3 times dua, chandat, majlis, dasson, ibadat. It's about my salvation. And Pir has told us that Tiya na mai, na baap, na behen, na bhai, na putra diya. So if we understand those ginan, meaning that if I die, my husband, my wife, my child, or my parents are not going to come with me. It is only me and my accounts. I got to think of me. This is me, my soul. Become selfish when it comes to your religion. It comes to your soul. I got to take care of me. How mindful and careful we are when we are planning of our worldly life. Oh, I'm going to retire. I have to need this and need that and this, that. I need this much. Have we thought of our soul who's going to retire as well when we die? Nobody is going to come. It is only what we have saved in our accounts. Nobody else's account is going to help me. So why worry about husband saying this and saying that? It is my earning, it is my money, I need to do that. In Ismaili Tariqa, Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah says, somebody asked Maulana Imam has given in Farman that divorce is only should be taken for one reason. And that when your husband stops you from following your tariqah. This is a harsh Farman. And now we are falling in love and we married outside and this person doesn't allow us. Then, where was our knowledge? What did we do? And it is now, this is their status. So how can we, reprimand whatever we have done? And be firm and strict. You are a human being, you are living, you're a partner. You got to do what you got to do for your salvation, if you want salvation. Again, I'm sorry we have to use these harsh words, but how otherwise we will wake up? If you are here, you want to know. So this is the truth. Harsh truth for me too. It is harsh. But we need to hear this warning. So we do understand the glad tidings. Somehow we focus on the glad tidings and we forget about the warnings. Ali Allah, Madad Farma. I think today was a hard session. Forgive me. I didn't intend to hurt anybody, but this is the Farman and we needed to understand. And based on the questions, we have dealt with that. Ji Kareem.
Thank you, Niamat Sahibah, for a wonderful session. I think we can close the session now. Okay. Thank you, friends, for attending. If you have any further questions or whatever, please let us know through the group chat, and maybe we can respond to them next week. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
And
friends.
Yali
Yali
Madad.
Madad. Yali Madad. Thank you, Kareem. Yali Madad.
Thank you.
Ya Ali Madad apa?
Yali Madad.
Ali Madad, everybody.
Yali Madad.
Ali Madad.
Yali Madad.
Yeah, Ali Madad.
Yali Madad.
Thank you for the wonderful session.
Thank you, Nilufar. Yali Madad.
Thank you, Yali Madad.
Yali Madad.
Ali Madad.
Yali Madad. Yali Madad.